So in this webinar, basically, we're talking about AI. And the fact of the matter is that AI is absolutely massive. And there is an incredible amount of hype around AI. It is insane. The talk around AI, it's going to simultaneously make everybody better at their jobs, take away all of the jobs, destroy the world, save the world. There's a lot of chatter around AI and a lot of hype. And I think as small business owners, it is really, really important that we start looking at this now and come to grips with it. AI is definitely happening. It will be used by your competitors. The big companies are going to be using it. The small companies also need to go and sort of get their heads around this. And as part of this webinar, I'm going to show you what we're doing to help you do that so that you can gain advantages in your own business. So I guess maybe to set the scene, there's talk of AI replacing salespeople. I don't believe it. I don't believe that's true in small businesses. Not yet. Maybe one day. Definitely one day. In a big business where people sort of drive by spreadsheets and they say, you know what, we'll fire these 30 human resources. That will increase customer complaints by 6%, revenue will drop 1%, but overall we've saved $10 million. And so, we kind of come out ahead. I don't think small businesses quite work that way. And I don't think that that's the way it's going to go, at least in the small business area. And the small businesses are massive, massive employers in Australia. I do have a more hopeful view, and the view and the belief that I have, and therefore by extension Tall Emu has, is that AI is a powerful lever for smart, motivated people to help them do things, better and more efficiently. And so that's really where we're going with this. So nobody knows where this is going to end up. I don't know whether the features we're building now will still exist in a year's time or whether they'll have been replaced by something even better. But we've got to start working on it together. And to give you sort of an idea of how important I think this is, what would you give to have known 20 years ago the impact of e-commerce on business, or 30 years ago the impact of the internet on the business? Exactly, what would you do differently in your business if your business is that old, apart from buy stock in Apple, maybe? So the world is changing. AI is definitely coming. And we really need to just accept it and get to grips with it and think about how we're going to be applying it in our businesses. Now, lucky for you guys, I love technology. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the owner of Tall Emu. Tall Emu's been around for a long time. So have I. I've been in technology all my life. And what we're doing is we're starting to add some AI capabilities into the Tall Emu CRM. And it's been my professional experience that, I can tell you things as potential customers or actual customers, and most of the time you're going to believe me. But where the real fun starts, where the real value comes in, is when I show you. Small business owners, by their nature, at least again in my experience, they seem to be, curious, usually, smart. Not always book smart. Sometimes it's street smart. Sometimes, it's a different kinds of savvy, but they've always got this sort of drive behind them, this skill, this motivation, if you like. And what I love doing is showing people like that something and go, hey, we have this thing. Have a look at this. And without fail, they tend to look at that thing that I show them and then go, all right, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder whether we could use it for that. And so what I want to do is show you some of the things that we're building right now in Tall Emu around AI, what we can do, why I think it's so cool, and why I think it can help your business. Now, we did one for customers a few days ago, a quick webinar for them. They already know Tall Emu, they're using it. Now, a lot of you guys here haven't been familiar with Tall Emu before. So as part of this, I'm going to have to explain a little bit about what Tall Emu does, and I'll try to be brief. So basically, Tall Emu is like a CRM. It's like Salesforce. It's like Act if you're old school, or Goldmine, or those types of things, except that it integrates with MYOB, it integrates with Xero. And the idea of Tall Emu is it doesn't just do your classic Mike had a meeting with Amy at 10 o'clock and write the notes. It manages the whole business process end to end. So it'll look after, some of your marketing. It will look after your quoting and your selling and your inventory and your serial numbers and your billing and your customer care and your ticketing system. It's a very, very broad system. And this is actually one of the reasons why I'm so excited, because one of the nice things about having a system that runs your business end to end is you actually have end-to-end business data. And as I hope I'll show you in the rest of this webinar, that's actually something that when you apply AI over the top of that, you get something really quite fantastic. So I'll get this off my screen now. Just one moment. And we'll get rid of the zoom. And what I'm just going to start off with actually is showing you a couple of pictures, or just a couple of screenshots that I took before for privacy purposes. I've blurred some of these things out, so that's why it's a screenshot, not a live demo. So this is actually a screenshot, sorry, from Tall Emu's live CRM. And one of the things that we've done, and this is a feature available to our customers right now, is that we can record every single phone call that comes in. So a phone call comes in, you get a pop-up on the screen saying, who is it? And as you can see on the screen here, we're logging these calls. We're logging the time of the call, who took the call, was the call answered, did we miss the call? Thankfully, in this demo, there are no missed calls showing up, but we can see who's doing what on any given day. And on this given day, we can see that Amy has been making some outbound calls. David and Lisa have been doing some support calls. Because we record the call, we can then actually go and attach the audio of that to the CRM. We can then summarize the call, as you can see here. So we're using AI then to go and summarize the call. So what this means as business owners is that you don't have to listen to hours upon hours of calls or ask your team what's going on. You can have a look in the CRM and you can see a short summary. Now, the way that I've got it set up for us is if it's a sales related call, we extract certain information. And you can see here, I've extracted, the person that Amy was speaking to had some positive comments. They expressed interest in the demo and the cost savings. The negative comments were not about Tall Emu, which is fantastic. And there's more data that we would extract, like what tools they use, any financial comments or things about the size of the business. But the nice thing here is I don't have to go and read an entire transcript of the call, even though we save it, and even though we save the audio, to understand what's going on in this phone call. I can see that Amy had what looked to be a fairly brief and productive call with this individual about potentially adopting Tall Emu. Now, that data exists inside the CRM. I can, in 5 minutes, have a look at all of the sales calls that day, all of the support calls that day. If I really need to, I'm able to then, read the entire transcript, or alternatively, listen to the audio if I must. It's done with AI. It's not AI for AI's sake. It's one of those simple examples of just using the technology in a smart way to help. And the next steps with something like this, which I won't be able to show you today, but I will be able to show you soon, is that you can then ask the AI, okay, well, find me any support calls today where the customer was a little bit annoyed. Were there any times where anyone spoke in an unprofessional tone? Find me all of the times where the customer called in looking for a particular product and we were unable to help them. What was the product? Those kinds of insights are really good and really, powerful for a business. This is just recording calls. Now, also inside Tall Emu, we'll just actually open up the CRM now because we've shown you the call screenshots. If I look down this left-hand menu here, you can see we've companies and contacts and opportunities with our classic lead funnel. We can have web forms going in here. We have our full sales capability, quoting, invoice, warehousing, shipments, serial tracking. And the reason why I'm quickly rattling all of that off again is you have everything from the customer's initial inquiry right the way through to you've taken the money, you've done the deal, you fulfilled your obligations towards the customer, and then you're in that customer service area, which we also cater for with things like support tickets, projects, and jobs. So I guess one thing to think about, one big advantage that I see is, most of you probably, if you haven't used ChatGPT, you probably know somebody that has. And so when you're looking at that, you use it to draft emails, you use it to go and check things that you're going to write. I've just written this email to Amy. Like, can you reword it so I don't sound quite so angry? Those kinds of things. And it's really, really powerful and useful at understanding your intent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the first preview of our AI assistant, and I'll start by going onto the correct site. Our AI assistant, which is Emma Emu. And the idea here, for those that haven't been on a webinar with me before, which is probably most of you, I do find it hard to talk, type, think at the same time. So luckily we have this here. So what I could do is I could start off with something, fingers crossed, this is a live demo, so we'll see how we go with this. What's on my plate today? What's on my plate today? And we'll ask the AI. So the AI is now going to figure out what my intent is behind that question. And what it may well then do is look at my calendar and it will visually or verbally confirm for me whatever I have on my plate today, which should be this stuff here. Now, I'll flag that at the moment, this is running on really low-powered hardware. It's running into preview mode, so this is not our release product. So it might be a little slow. It might get things wrong. There's a lot of work that we still have to do around security, speed breaks to stop it doing crazy stuff, and guardrails to stop it doing naughty stuff. We're working through that as we go. But as you see here, it's called up and it said that's what's in my Tall Emu today. Great. So I could say, I could type, show me that in time order. Oops, typo. But it should figure out with that typo there what I actually meant. And so here it is. So I've got this meeting here with Brookvale Farm. So I could say, for example, push the Brookvale meeting until the same time tomorrow and cut down the meeting with Jeff Vader to 30 minutes. And again, what the AI should now do is understand my intent and go and make those changes. So if I quickly toggle to tomorrow, we see the Brookvale Farm meeting has been moved over. And if I come back here, it seems to have done me dirty on the Jeff Vader meeting. Oh, no, it's done it right. Sorry, it is 5 to 5:30. I've got this showing in 15-minute increments, which threw me there for just a moment. So yes, it has in fact done exactly the sort of thing that I was hoping it would do. Now, you're probably watching this and you're thinking, well, some of this stuff is, you could just do it quicker by dragging and dropping. And when you're doing some of these things, you're right. But I could also say, for example, what open quotes do I have? Do I have any tickets that are assigned to me? And what are my sales opportunities looking like today? Anything likely to close? And if I say that, it's going to go and start to sort of hunt around in CRM and bring me up summaries and information about the data in the system. And what I'm hoping to achieve here when this is polished and finished and released is, imagine you're having a conversation with a subordinate, right? So we'll take a look at these tickets here, and I've got tickets assigned to me that are open. So I've got coffee machine issue, which I see here, the pasta maker, and the broken coffee machine. So I could say, for example, assign all of those tickets to Ryan. And the CRM will now go and assign those tickets to Ryan. I don't have anything that's looking good on the sales opportunity time. Oh, all right, let's try that again. Is Ryan a real user? Hang on. Assign those tickets to David. I should have a David in here. Oh, okay. This is they say never work with children, animals. They should extend that to say AI. It's not always going to work perfectly. That's one of the risks of showing some pre-release things. Let's try something else. So it is quicker sometimes to just go and click and do things yourself. But what we could try is something like this. I want you to get the companies that owe me more than 10 grand. I want you to draft an email asking for immediate payment, and I'd like you to send it to them, please. So it should now go and have a little hunt through the CRM, and it should find things that are companies that owe me more than $10,000 and prepare an email to go to them. So it's going to have a little bit of a think. It's probably also going to be a little bit persnickety because it's in a demo and it's going to do its best. It started off so strongly, it's probably going to want to play with me a little. So here we are. We've got these three companies. Two of them don't have an email address. So just draft an email for the three of them first. We'll worry about the emails later. But you'll see that it's actually looked up the email addresses in the company as well, ready to go. And this is partly due to the guardrails that we've already started to put in. The horrifying thing that I would hate to do the most, that I can think of right now anyway, would be to accidentally send emails to customers before you've had a chance to look over them. So you can see here, here's a draft email you can use for all three companies. So there's the current draft. And what I could do is I could just say, okay, make sure you include the balance in the email and send it. Now, at this current moment, it's not going to send it. That feature will be going live tomorrow, but you get the idea that it's very, very easy to go and do this stuff. What I might just do instead is I might say, okay, put all of those companies onto credit hold because they have displeased me, and then add a note to those companies saying Mike is demonstrating CRM. It's 218 and they have been placed on credit hold. And so again, hopefully, with it being a demo, we'll see whether or not the demo gods are kind to me. But it should just now go and do what I have asked it to do. All three companies. Okay, so let's have a look. So if I filter by stock credit, we will very quickly see whether it has done the right thing for me. And thankfully, it has. And if we take a look at Death Star Enterprises, what we should now see, if I look on my timeline, is a note here, Mike's demonstrating blah, 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 and we can see that happened at 2:18 p.m. So this is a starting point of what we could do with CRM and AI automation. And one of the things that I'm really, really keen on, this happened about 7 years ago. A guy came to the house. We needed a new roof on the house. The guy came to the house and he was looking at the roof and he's measuring it up and he's talking into his phone. And I was fascinated. And I said to him, what software are you using there? What a brilliant idea. What is that? And it's like, oh, it's just voice note. What he was doing is he was taking the voice note, recording everything about the job, and then he would get home and his wife would write up a quote by hand. And I thought, isn't that clever? Now with AI, the intent, the capability of the understanding is so powerful, so good that you could actually make it do the quote from the text. I'm just going to go inside here and check my task list. Okay, I just want to make sure there's nothing up my sleeve here with tasks. So another thing I could do is I could say, let's talk about today's to-do list. I'd like you to make me 3 tasks. I'd like you to paint the fence, wax the car, and what was the other one from Karate Kid? I can't remember, but make a task for that as well. That's 50-50 whether it's going to do this. What was it? Paint the fence, wax the floor, wax on, wax off. There's another one as well. Let's see whether it will do it anyway. It's really rather good. Sand the floor, that's it. So it's made those 3 silly tasks, or at least let's go and see that it has sand the floor, wax the car, paint the fence. There you go. That's pretty neat, right? So again, if we can have it get into this almost conversational type of work with you as you are using AI, you can see how enormously helpful it could be. So I can do things like, what coffee machines do we have in stock? I should have said, what do we sell? And it can go and it can tell me. I could obviously go to the product list and filter and find, okay, we've got a Group 2 coffee machine in stock. I can say, how many of those did we sell this year? And what was the average price, the minimum price, and the maximum price we sold it for? And again, it can go, because we have all of our sales data in here, it can go and get that for us. So let's see what it's going to do. All right, so we sold 40. The average selling price was there, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we got some really weird test data in here. The maximum selling price was $20,000. Yikes, which poor bugger paid $20,000 for a coffee machine? And hopefully, again, it's going to, again, figure out the intent. So you don't have to talk to it and say, please search for coffee machine sales. Um, Look at that. I think that's really cool. The customer who paid 20 grand was Death Star Enterprises, and they did it 3 times. I do feel that the AI is a little too gleeful here about ripping customers off. I almost feel a little guilty about it. So what we could do is we could say, draft up an email to Death Star Enterprises offering them free servicing on the coffee machines for life, and congratulate them on being such a splendid customer. Now, if you've used ChatGPT, you know that you can just go into ChatGPT and you can say, draft me an email, and it will draft you an email and it will look almost exactly like that. The thing is, though, with CRM, with it all being connected with all of your data, I can say, now go and send that email, and that email will just appear on the timeline. And so imagine if you're at a trade show and you have a mobile phone with you. So let's try something. One of the dangers that I see for me in demonstrating this is I get so carried away because it's so cool, and then I try something I haven't tried before, and then my demo crashes and burns. This is just life. So let's give it a go. So we could say, let's try and think. I'm at a trade show and I've just met a chap called Peter Parker, and he would like to buy a coffee machine. So let's make a $5,000 opportunity for Peter Parker. Let's make sure that we add the contact there as well. And we'll pop a note on there just saying that we met Peter at a trade show and he seemed quite a nice guy. Now let's see what we get. I haven't tried this before, but this should go and ideally do the right thing. So what I'm expecting and hoping for here is that it will go and it will make the opportunity, it will go and pop a note on it, the opportunity will be worth $5,000. And let's go and see what we get. So let's go to opportunities. It's given us a subject for a coffee machine at the trade show for Peter Parker, $5,000. Let's just be completely intellectually honest and go in and check. And it was just done now, and it did indeed add that quote, which I think is wonderful. So some of the other things that we can do with this that just don't relate to the AI assistant is we can do things like process data. So I could take, for example, I haven't done it yet, but I've certainly played with it and verified the concept. I can have an email address. I can summarize the email address, the email content from that address, and I can pop that into CRM. I could detect sales. We have a special email that you can send requests for quotes or sales to, and the AI is able to understand, Mike Nash would like to order a coffee machine just from free text in an email and go and generate that quote or generate that sale. And so I hope as I'm going through this, you can sort of see maybe how some of these things could be applied to your business. So for example, what support tickets did we have open again? I've forgotten. And let's have a look and see what it's got. So have a little think. So again, we've been focusing on making this work. It's not running related to sport. Okay. Just give me any open support tickets. Oh, I see, because I said sport tickets there. My English accent's causing us some problems. And there we go. So let's try that again. I'm sure I think we had Kieran in there as a user. So let's try assign number 1 and number 3 to Kieran. And come on. Oh, here we go. Okay, so something's obviously gone squirrely. Wouldn't be a demo if it did not. But this is the kind of thing that we are able to do. Now, one of the limits of, say, AI stuff like a ChatGPT, where it's just giving you data and showing you data, is you can't then make it go and do something later. So you could say, like, let's pick this conversation up tomorrow. And it'll go, yeah, okay, no worries, but it won't remind you. So one of the objectives that we have is to build this into the Tall Emu reminder system. The idea being that if you say to the AI, remind me next Tuesday to do this thing, you're going to get a pop-up and that conversation is going to come right back. And then the second thing, the other strand of this that we're looking at is our automation system. So a lot of systems have, automations in there now. If I show you, for example, this one here. So this is saying when a quote gets updated, what we want to do is go and update some key fields. So when a quote's updated, we're going to go and update the account. We're going to set the lifecycle stage to customer. And then if it's not linked to an opportunity, if it is linked to an opportunity, sorry, we're going to update that to quote accepted and the status of won. The next thing that I think is going to be really cool is plugging AI into this automation system in two ways. One, to use AI to analyze your data coming in, and the other to actually use AI to generate this kind of automation inside the system. So you could say, for example, to the AI, I would like to be alerted every time Mike sells somebody a $20,000 coffee machine. And what would then happen is the AI will be smart enough to go, okay, so it's when we sell something, it's a coffee machine, the value's over $20,000. It will know it can just do that with a simple automation. But if I said, for example, I want to be alerted every time somebody emails a customer and the language is unprofessional, in that case, it would need to have an automation to check every email as it went out, but AI would need to be used to verify the language side of things. So by combining the ability to sort of modify, to work with, to create data inside the system, to be able to go and automate and remind and instigate that from within the CRM, I think that we're building something pretty compelling. And there's all sorts of useful stuff that could be done. So if I go, for example, I have a question. Okay, currently available. So somebody's asking me, which of the features we are showing are currently available? And the answer to that is right now, the currently available feature is the automation feature. Tall Emu themselves, we are using this as a team inside Tall Emu, but this is not yet ready for public release. We still need to put some security around it and some safety measures around it. So, for example, you don't necessarily want your sales team looking at your financials. At the moment, the AI has access to absolutely everything. So we would need to make sure that AI only operates within the privileges, within the security roles that you have given to the your users inside the system. So jumping back to where was I going to go? Sorry, back to automations here. I'll give you another idea of how we could be using AI combined with the automation feature. So web forms drop leads into your opportunity pipeline. We can look at the content that has come into that pipeline from the customer, and we can actually go and have AI do one of two things, depending on how much you trust the AI and the nature of the inquiries that you tend to get. So, for example, you could say, have the AI look in my knowledge base and draft a reply to the customer. Today, I think that's hilariously dangerous without some sort of human oversight in the loop, because it can make up all kinds of things. But what you could do is you could prepare 10 or 15 or 20 email templates that go back to customers, and you could have it so that the AI will look at the customer inquiry and then determine, okay, well, based on this customer inquiry, do any of these email templates actually cover that inquiry? And the AI is really, really, really good at that sort of understanding and analysis. So that gives you some confidence in what you would send out to your customer. You know that it's not going to start, well, Grok, for example, Elon Musk's AI started coming out with hate speech and Hitler references and things like that. You never would want that coming out. I certainly would never want that coming out of Tall Emu, and you certainly would never want that going to your customers or out of your organizations either. So you could guard against that by having the AI make decisions, but not generate content. And when we actually go and look at the AI, one of the things that we've done is we've made it so that it will never send an email without confirming both the email address and the email content, which makes it really, really annoying to test because it keeps saying, okay, here's the email, is that okay? Now is the email address, is that okay? Okay, do you want me to send it? We've got like 3 checks. We'll probably dial that back just a little bit once we're sort of a lot more confident that this thing is on the rails and just have maybe one sanity check at the very end of it. But essentially, that is really sort of what we're doing with AI inside Tall Emu. That's where it's at. Because we have so much data, we're able to go, it can ask questions, update data, generate and manipulate content, remind you of things. I really now at this point, there's not a lot to say. I've talked about the things that I wanted to talk about, and I'm just generally now going to be open for if anyone has any questions or feedback or maybe things I haven't covered that they might like to know about. Let's have a look. Questions lighting up again. Okay. What kind of business is a good fit for Tall Emu? It's not really. What kind of business is a good fit for Tall Emu? Look, any business can work with Tall Emu. The best types of businesses that we work with, B2B, wholesale, small manufacturers, generally anyone who is working with product, manufacturing product, wholesaling product, selling product. That's the sort of business that really does work the best with CRM at the moment. Though any kind of business really does use it, we have all sorts, but that's the one where we add the most value. That would be. Any other questions that people may have? No. Okay, not at this point. Right. So, in that case, I'm Mike. You can get me on the Tall Emu. You can via Tall Emu contact forms or calling the main number. If you have any questions, want to catch up, talk about AI in software, what we're doing, what we could do for you, please by all means drop us a note. I'll be happy to have that chat with you. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of our presentation for now. So thank you and have a good afternoon.